And Jonah, very interestingly, asks them to throw him overboard. For, he says, I know that on account of me, this great storm has come upon you. Very interesting. And I'd like to ask Jonah, if you know that you're the cause of this great storm, why don't you just jump overboard yourself? Why do you ask them to do it for you? Then they cast Jonah into the sea, just as he asked. And no sooner than Jonah's body breaks the skin of the water and he begins to sink, then the sea stands still. The Bible says, and the Lord prepared a great fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the stomach of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. God prepared a great fish to rescue the life of his servant from physical death, but also from spiritual apathy. And you know, God's ability to get people's attention and rescue them using nature was not limited to Jonah's time. In 1812, when Napoleon's Grand Army of France was set to attack Russia, the then Tsar of Russia, godless Alexander I, was suddenly caused to fear God. Alexander I of Russia was a vile man. So vile was he that he fired the then present Archbishop of the Orthodox Church and appointed a man who was known for his immorality as the new archbishop in hope of getting some support for his own immorality. But surprise of surprises, when the new archbishop took office, God got a hold of his heart, and Alexander no longer had a support in his sin. Anyway, there is Moscow, surrounded by the Grand Army of France and Napoleon. The spires of Moscow have already been set ablaze, and defeat is inevitable. Godless Tsar Alexander I is desperate, and so he enters a church there in St. Petersburg, and he falls on his face before God in that church, pleading for the deliverance of his nation. And in answer to this repentant ruler, God immediately sends the severe Russian winter. Napoleon's army can no longer take it, and they're sent packing. God brought Alexander I to his knees and then prepared the severe Russian winter to rescue him and also to rescue all of Russia. And most often, before we are rendered rescuable, we are first humbled by God, whether individually or whether corporately. And you know, I find it remarkable that every revival or reformation in church history has first been preceded by some servant or servants of the Lord, first realizing not just their inadequacy and sinfulness, but also realizing the fact that the Lord alone can save, that salvation is of the Lord. Jonah realizes this in the belly of the fish.